Hello everybody, Jonathan Willis here of Gunset Training Group. We wanted to put together a video for you to understand what's going to happen in our day of training on October 7th, 2023. It's already October 2023, that's pretty sweet. We're going to have a fun day of shotgun applications at the Xenia PD training facility. Really excited about that. As always, of course, we thank Xenia PD for their support of Gunset in our training family. So that's really a cool thing. We're going to put together a few modules of critical information so that when we hit the ground running on October 7th, it's not in a classroom for a couple of hours when all you want to do is shoot shotguns. We're going to get there, we're going to do a safety brief here, but we're also going to do a quick pre-training safety brief on site to get our positions designated, and then talk about the facility, find out where those bathrooms are, where those berms are, and then get to work. So stay tuned, and we'll know what we're going to be doing on October 7th for shotgun applications. I'm really glad to have you. We're going to have a lot of fun. Can't wait to see you. All right, everybody, if we're going to have a good time in our class, we want to talk through a few safety considerations. And out on the table, I have a few prompts for myself, but also things that we want you to be mindful of or thoughtful of in our training environment. If we have a safe and healthy day, we're going to be able to take in the content a lot better, have a much more enjoyable time, and be relatively out of harm's way. So let's talk about a few things that we want to have on point. First and foremost, a few things that you can do before we get into our range activities. One of which, and I think it's probably the most important way to keep a safe and healthy training environment, would be pre-hydrating, hydrating, and rehydrating. Often we see our biggest problems on the range or for students, be it injury or illness, are related to issues of hydration. So be mindful of that. I've actually been liking some of the liquid IV solutions that you can add to drinks. They've helped me with, especially in a multi-day training situation, avoid those cramps and stay really well hydrated with all those electrolytes and everything they want you to be having. So hydrate, but consider maybe adding one of those IV solutions, liquid IV solutions to your bag, and dump a couple of those in your water throughout the day. Obviously, if we're training short of lightning and tornadoes and hurricanes and craziness, we're training. So environmental considerations are significant. So have that sunscreen ready for you. We are fortunate in that we get to train on a really nice concrete pad. That's great for our work, that's great for being stable underfoot, and we appreciate that. However, anytime we get into about that 85-ish temperature range or beyond it, particularly with no cloud cover, we get a lot of reflecting sun off of the concrete. It's really bright, so we get a lot of reflection out of that. So I like to wear shorts when I'm training. If you do too, definitely take care of those legs. I like to wear the thinner long sleeve shirts where I can pop that collar up and protect myself. I like to wear a wide brim hat. So think of those environmental considerations before you come to the range. I'm sure we'll have extra, and we always share because we want people to be safe and healthy, but think of what you like. I don't like touching the lotions and stuff, so I get that nice bougie sheer spray so I don't have to touch it. So those are some considerations non-specific to shooting that you should keep in mind. Again, we train in all weather conditions, so bring rain gear. I like a wide brim hat that serves obviously to help me in the rain. Also helps with flying brass and things like that. Getting into the specifics of shooting safety. Let's talk about, we always have our ear pro. With shotguns, I usually like to just run single. I don't have a lot of problem. We're outside. So single, electronic preferred will help you understand range instructions and the like. Also, appropriate safety eyewear. If you can make sure that it's, I think it's ANSI Z87-2, blah, 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 whatever. Good safety eyeglasses. Minor prescription. If you do have prescription glasses, consider some of those ones that'll go over it. Those are good to go too. Eyes and ears, always. That's a universal concern for us. So take care of that. We always have our medical plan in place. So in my classes, because I'm a medic, I tend to run as Med 1. We will designate a Med 2 to help me in the absolutely worst case scenario that we have to help someone with a medical or injury. We will have these positions stated. We have on-site multiple trauma kits. We have on-site an AED on the range as well in the classroom. As you enter the door on the left-hand wall, immediately upon entry, you will find another AED and an additional med kit, trauma kit. So we have those things covered. We will designate a communications person. So that person will be tasked with making contact with Xenia PD, because that's where we're training, at the Xenia Police Station. Oftentimes we'll have someone who's actually a representative of Xenia around, so that's kind of helpful too. That person will make the contact, give the address, and make them aware that we've had a training injury or a medical emergency at the Xenia PD training facility, and get things moving there. Because of our proximity to quality emergency medical services, we will not be considering a patient removal of our own, because we have the resources available to us in a close, appropriate hospital. So we're in good shape there. We will not need to do that. If you are not otherwise tasked, move off the range if there's an incident, and just be out of the way of the people providing care or equipment. We recommend that anytime you're shooting, I recommend at minimum having a tourniquet on your person. And that can be in a carrier such as this, or in a flat pack method of your preference in your pocket. That's a real helpful thing to have too. I call that a minimum range kit. We will have trauma kits on range, so that's really helpful. But also consider your preferred IFAK in your bag or in close proximity to. We can't have too many of these. Every shooter should have at least an IFAK in their bag, in their pocket, or close by and readily accessible. But immediate action is always tourniquets, and we always have those present. So our plan is to have a safe and healthy and productive training day, and this should help us achieve that goal. Talk to you soon. All right, friends, let's take a few minutes to talk through our firearm safety rules. We always have to revisit these. No matter how many times you hear them, we got to talk about it again and again and again. So let's have a quick review. What's number one rule? First and foremost, all guns are always loaded. Treat all guns as if they are loaded. That's a pretty fair statement. There's a few ways to describe that. Simply put, I like to think of it like this. We will always know the condition of our firearm. Always. Anytime we take up a firearm, we don't take for granted. If I hand it to you, if you hand it to me, we check. Our check with the shotgun is chamber clear, follower clear, lifter clear, bolt open, okay? And our safety's on. So that's how we know that a shotgun is unloaded, is safe. Until we prove otherwise, that thing's loaded. So that's number one. Number two, we're out here at our nice range. We got a lot of steel, we got some paper, we got a nice big background. Never point your firearm at anything you aren't willing to destroy. Shotguns are a particularly devastating weapon system. So for our context, let's make sure of that. If we are shooting, let's make sure to never rotate offline, never rotate our guns or point our guns in any direction that's questionable. Our guns will be pointed downrange or at target when they're pressed into service and when we're doing what we're going to be doing. So never point your firearm at anything you're not willing to kill or destroy. 3, keep your finger off the trigger until you are on sights and ready to fire. Shotguns are pretty cool because they have this flat receiver. So a natural index on a shotgun is pretty simple. And with a forward-mounted safety like this, we're have a nice motion to our safety and then are able to go on trigger. But anytime we are not on a specific target, keep that finger on the flat of the receiver, keep that finger off and away from the trigger. These triggers don't take much, okay? So we need to take out every possible potential of pressing off around when we don't want to. We already talked a little bit about kind of how our sling orientation is going to be. And that's part of the reason. If this trigger gets pressed off, or if it were in a hot condition, I don't want to lose my foot. And with a shotgun, you could very much lose your foot. So, trigger discipline at all times. Keep your finger off the trigger until you are on sights and ready to fire. Oh, we're using shotguns and we're using sights. It's not spray and pray. This is a targeted precision weapon system and we're going to treat it as such. So when we're on those sights, on that target, that's when we can go on trigger and press off that round. So, 4th and finally, know your target, what is beyond it, and what is around it. We should never be in a situation on a range such as this or any other where we are surprised by something out there, or we're pointing or shooting at something that we shouldn't be pointing or shooting at. We have a pretty high berm that we get to work with. That's really a good thing. We know what is around it, we know what is beyond it, and we know what our target is, and we act accordingly. That's when we can go on trigger and press that shot. If we were to ever see something pop up in our background or something change, we have to be aware of it, we have to see it going on, and we have to stop. That's a good reminder that we're all part of this safety team. We're training together, we're going to have a good time. If you see anything, any conditions change that pertain to our rules of firearm safety, if you see anything, an injury, an illness, a point of safety question at all, make yourself heard and we will address it. And those are really important things. So those are some really important shotgun safety, firearm safety considerations for our good time. All right, friends, let's take a few minutes and discuss what would be the kind of average or optimal shotgun setup for this class. Again, this class is shotgun application, so we're doing a few things differently than we did in our shotgun foundations class, which the context of foundations is exclusively home defense. We run it from tables, and we're learning more about the operation of the shotgun, the manipulations of the shotgun, and so forth. And for that context, yes, we tend to strip off our slings and things like that so that they don't get hooked in the context of the home. For our applications class, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be a little bit more mobile on the range. So we will be wearing and working from slings. A lot of us have a background in training on the AR platform. Some of us don't, and that's cool too. But we're going to get some good reps utilizing the sling and carrying the firearm appropriately and safely throughout our training day. More on that in a minute. We'll talk on that in a minute. But general shotgun setup, we will not be using in our class any pistol grip only shotguns. Our shotguns are expected to have a stock. We are coming to this class with a pump shotgun or a semi-automatic shotgun with a true stock, and that can be worked in the way we're going to work them. So no pistol grip shotguns. Well, unless it has a stock attached to it and that's your thing. You do you. But we are looking at standard shotguns. So this is my example of my 1301 setup. A lot of us will be running a few different things. Think of your sling attachments for these shotguns. I'm a right-handed shooter, which means that my sling will attach to the front of my firearm on the left side. On the rear of my gun, it will attach on the right. If you remember our shoulder transitions that we worked through in our applications class, we'll be revisiting those because we're going to be learning how to shoot around left or right corners. So we will have an understanding of how to transition the shotgun, sling or no sling. And if you set it up like this, you're going to have a much better time with that right shoulder to left shoulder or left shoulder to right shoulder transition. So trust me on that one. This shotgun is set up pretty standard. I do have a light on my shotgun. If you choose to employ a light on your shotgun, I want you to pay careful consideration to the mounting method. As you see with this Surefire Scout Mini example here, you see that it is mounted very close to the firearm, which means that under fire it doesn't have a lot of leverage action or ability to fail from its M-lock attachment points here in the forend. Over here you see I have a pad that I can operate either right-handed or left-handed depending on the need. So keep a low profile pad and be careful of clicky on type switches on your gun. A lot of times we see people using shotguns and they inadvertently click their light on and it just stays on. That is suboptimal. We want momentary on these weapon lights should you choose to employ one. On the side of our guns, for our purposes, you will need a side saddle. This is a common example. This is my favorite soft material side saddle. This is the 6-shot carrier from Van Comp. I'd say number 2 would probably be that 6-shot carrier from S-Tac. There are a few out there. These are typically the best constructed and allow you to run brass down if you should choose. We'll do a lot of brass up, brass down, and you're going to get to do you with that. But if you prefer the brass down, the Van Comp is the way to go on that. Also the S-Tac. Those are the best constructed ones out there. A lot of people are running the solid aluminum milled Aridus Industries option, and that's a wonderful option too. They can tend to be a little bit higher tension when stripping rounds off the side saddle. But you're going to need one. I would suggest one of 6 rounds, if possible. Some guns, like a Benelli M4, may not like the a six shot card on it, so you may have to downsize that a little bit. But there are many options out there. If you are running an optic, check those batteries. Also check those attachment points. The shotgun puts a lot of force on these attachment points. So check those attachment points. Make sure you got witness marks on anything on your gun that you attach so that you can quickly look and know if you have a need for tightening. We will be shooting slugs. We will be shooting buckshot in a more precise manner. So check your slug as compared to your buckshot to ensure that your point of aim is consistent with your point of impact. Check those out before you come out. We're going to be shooting slugs. We may push out to 50, but we are definitely going to be within 25. So we will be doing taking some shots on a silhouette size target. We're going to be doing some variable positions with those as well. So consider also for our mounting the gun smoothly. If you have specifically an SGA, often you'll have, this is an SGA stock from Magpul. Oftentimes you will have about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of padding on the back of this gun. Amazing stock, super love it. But we want to watch for this hanging up on your shirt if you're mounting from the high ready position, or generally being sticky and more prone to friction and grabbing other pieces of clothing. So I like to put some electrical tape around there. Let's see what else we have on this. Let's talk about our stock, or excuse me, our sling. We're going to be running slings. So I'm going to give you a quick example of how we will be wearing and running our slings. Most of us will be running an adjustable 2-point sling. If you get anything beyond that, it's going to get a little bit weird for you in some of these positions that we're going to use. So as you see me now, when we're off the line and we're not shooting, we are going to have bolts open and we are going to be in the tight slung position. So this is how we're going to be most of the day. Sling will come up over your dominant side shoulder, track underneath your non-dominant side arm. And this is how we wear it. Notice that when I have this tightened up, it is out from my toes. You'll see sometimes people, again, this is a cleared gun, confirmed. Check chamber, check follower, bolt is open. Now it's closed. You will see people that often will have the gun oriented almost dead at their feet. We want to avoid that. When you're wearing this shotgun, have it out from your feet. Be aware of your shotgun position at all times. Position, condition, we want to know that at all times. If you drop something and you're in a sling, we're in this position. Now, let's say I drop this little stick over here. You will see people, and you've probably all seen people doing this, okay? That's a big no, okay? If you drop something and you have to get it with the shotgun slung, you will take control of the shotgun, you will step down, keeping the shotgun with the appropriate orientation, and then stand back up, okay? No leaning over and muzzling people behind you or yourself. That's a big no-no. We don't want to have any of that going on. So again, control the gun, pick up what you need to pick up when told to, and that'll be that. Sometimes you'll see people after a shooting sequence, they'll go from here and they'll just go here. And the gun will be real loose and slack and pointing everywhere it's not supposed to. After your shooting sequence, tighten those slings up, stand by. That's how we're going to run our slings. This is a really nice sling. This is from Blue Force Gear. It's a padded sling. Highly recommend a padded sling for your day of work. Let's talk about a couple of other pieces of equipment that are going to make your training day a little bit nicer. You saw that shotgun setup over there. You know we're going to have a side saddle on our shotgun for our work. I would say to avoid that sling that has shells in it and things like that, don't put any of that on there. Your best shell storage solution is going to be just a simple dump pouch or a big old pocket. Okay, we'll have a round count on our guns when told to, but otherwise, I love a dump pouch like this, or a pocket or a fanny pack, whatever you may prefer. You know, don't get too wrapped around the axle about your shell carry method, because again, this is a civilian context weapon, how we're doing it. If you want to run a chest rig, by all means, do what you want to do. But for a nice day of work, you're going to be pretty comfortable with this. We are going to be doing variable position shooting, because we need to know how to shoot in some position other than a perfectly platformed standing position squared to the target. We're going to be working through some positional shooting. And so I recommend bringing a shooting mat. Now, I've used everything from an old GI wool blanket. If that's your jam, have it your way. I like this. This is a simple mat called the Range Max from Cabela's. Shockingly cheap, incredibly good. I've used this in all kinds of classes, from tack rifle to precision rifle. I've spent a lot of time on the ground on this. Also, when it starts raining, really good solution. This thing's waterproof, so it's pretty killer. So have a shooting mat that you can work from. If you have a shotgun setup, some semblance to that, and you have these important pieces of kit, you're going to have a good training day with us. Talk to you soon. All right, friends, thank you for watching this video. I'm sure that we are all better prepared for our class, Shotgun Applications, on October 7th. Thank you for watching the video. We're going to have a good time. Can't wait to see you.